Welcome to Beat the Heat Awareness Training.
It's already a hot day, and it's only going to get hotter. As the sun rises higher in the sky, so does the humidity level. You and your coworkers are in for another scorching hot day. Fortunately, most of the people on your shift have been on the job for a while, and they know how to work safely in the extreme heat. But not everyone. This new hire set out this morning to impress his supervisor and show his coworkers what he's made of. Hey man, you alright?
Yeah, sure, I'm alright, no problem.
Suppose you see one of your coworkers in this condition. He tells you he's fine, but he looks awfully hot and tired. One option is simply to get back to work. There's no sense wasting time when you have lots of work to do. Besides, he needs to get used to the heat if he plans on working out here. Or you could ask him once more if he's all right, just to be sure. Actually, the best alternative would be to take a break in the shade and drink some water. If you see a crew member who may be showing the early signs of a heat-related medical condition, it is up to you to take responsibility. You see, when it comes to heat, we have to look out for each other and take the right actions without hesitation.
Temperature regulation. Have you ever wondered why you sweat when you get too hot from running, or shiver on a cold winter's day? Well, in this video we are going to explain why your body behaves like this. Humans are endotherms. This means we are warm-blooded. We keep our body operating at 37 degrees Celsius, regardless of the external conditions. However, this is a real challenge as our environment changes all the time depending on the weather, our clothes, if we are inside by the fire or outside having a snowball fight. So how does this work? Well, it's quite similar to the heating system in a house. In a house is a thermostat that measures the temperature. If the house gets cold, the thermostat will tell the radiators to turn on and heat it up. If it's too hot, they will be told to switch off. Simple. Your body works in just the same way. Here in your brain is a special area called the hypothalamus. It measures the temperature of the blood flowing through it and also collects information from temperature sensors around the body. It then decides if the temperature is too hot or too cold and will try and bring it back to 37 degrees Celsius. If you are too hot, the hypothalamus can then send signals out to the body via the nervous system that can cause various effects. It can send a signal to your skin and cause sweat glands to secrete the sweat onto the surface of the skin. The sweat itself is not cold, but it works because it takes the heat away from your body in order to evaporate it. Another way of losing heat is vasodilation. Look how these blood vessels nearest the surface of the skin open wide and allow blood to flow through them. The heat is radiated from the blood into the air and the blood cools down. If you get too cold, you can do the opposite with these blood vessels and close them off, keeping the blood away from the surface of the skin. This is called vasoconstriction. You can also start to shiver. This is when your muscles contract in order to make heat. Another effect you may have noticed when you are cold are goose pimples. If you look more closely at goose pimples, what you realise is that each of the little bumps has a hair sticking out of it. These hairs are stood up on end to trap a layer of air around the skin. Air is a fantastic insulator of heat, and this will keep you nice and cosy. Did you know that when you pluck a goose, it leaves these little bumps, and that is where the term comes from? All these effects are examples of negative feedback that help with homeostasis.
During summer months, temperature rises up drastically and heat-related illnesses are a major concern. It is important for us to know symptoms of heat illness and how to protect yourself and your coworkers from dangers of heat exposure. What is heat illness? Hot conditions put your body under a lot of stress. Body normally cools itself by sweating. During hot weather, sweating is not enough. Heat, when combined with other stresses such as hard physical work, loss of fluids, fatigue, pre-existing medical conditions, and or lack of acclimatization may lead to heat-related illness, injuries, disability, and even death. This can happen quickly and it can happen to anybody, even young and fit people. Did you know that hot, tired, and fatigued workers may reduce work performance such as reduced accuracy and reduced efficiency? And you know that hot, tired, and fatigued workers may increase accidents such as workers more susceptible to accident, workers more prone to injury. How does it happen? The body responds to overheating by excessive sweat loss resulting in dehydration, increased blood flow to skin causes decrease in organ function that may lead to body loses its ability to cool. Let us learn how to recognize heat illness symptoms and how to protect yourself. Here are some heat-related illnesses. First one, heat rash. Symptoms for heat rash are small red clusters of blisters or pimples. Skin becomes reddened and may itch, feel prickly, or hurt. Most likely to appear on the upper chest, neck area, in the groin, under the breast, and increase on the elbow. First aid are practice good personal hygiene. Wear loose, dry clothing will help sweat evaporate and reduce the chance of heat rash. Keep affected area dry. See the doctor if rash persists. Severe heat rash can result in fever or heat exhaustion. Second one is heat syncope. Symptoms are dizzy, lightheaded, nausea. Usually occurs at the beginning of the hot season before the body has adapted. First aid are lay victim down in a cool location with feet elevated. If conscious, give fluids. Other symptoms are painful muscle cramps or spasms, usually in arms, legs, or abdomen caused by loss of body salt through heavy sweating, onset of dehydration. First aid are stop activity and rest in a cool area. Drink more water and caffeine-free fluid. Get medical attention if condition continues. Heat cramps are an early warning sign of heat stress. Third one is heat exhaustion. Symptoms are excessive sweating, rapid or shallow breathing, nausea or vomiting, muscle cramps, dizziness or confusion, headache, blurred vision, weak pulse, pale complexion or clammy skin, weakness. First aid are stop activity and rest in a cool area. Loosen and remove unnecessary clothing. Apply wet clothes to head and body. Give sips of cold water. Inform your supervisor. If vomiting continues or person is unconscious, seek medical care immediately. If untreated, heat exhaustion can quickly lead to heat stroke. Next one is heat stroke. Symptoms are very high body temperature greater than 40 degrees Celsius, confusion, dizziness, hallucinations, loss of coordination. Skin is hot, red and dry. Slurred speech, fast pulse, chills, throbbing headache. First aid are seek medical care immediately. Inform your supervisor. Lay worker down in a cool area and remove outer clothing. Apply immediate cooling to body using cold wet clothes or spraying with cold water. If conscious, give fluids. If untreated by medical care, heat stroke can result in death. In order to reduce the risk of heat-related illness, workers should stay hydrated before, during, and after work. How much water is enough? Drink at least 2 liters every 2 to 3 hours in summer and drink more than just to satisfy your thirst. Good sources of hydration: water, juices and or non-caffeine sport drinks, fruit and veggies which is 90% water. It is also the responsibility of every worker to observe their urine color as shown on the urine hydration chart. Urine color is an important indicator of dehydration. Be sure to take note of the color of your urine and stay properly hydrated. If your urine is darker than a pale yellow color, increase your intake of fluids immediately. Take note that some foods, spices, or vitamin supplements may change the color of your urine for a few hours after ingestion. All workers should be watchful for symptoms for themselves and others. Co-workers should recognize what's happening and intervene. A worker heading into heat stroke will no longer realize what's happening to them. Regarding the PPE, wear appropriate clothing and PPE where applicable. Be aware when using any PPE that prevents sweat from evaporating. Hard hats: attach a piece of light-colored fabric to the back and side of the rim, which provides shade for neck. Damp down clothing with water. It will help cool the body through evaporation. Workers should rest in a cool place where possible. Take a break as per Thermal Work Limit or TWL measurement guidelines. Do not push your body beyond its limits. Ensure good nutrition and well-balanced healthy diet. Avoid caffeinated drinks like tea, coffee, and soda. To summarize all the worker responsibility, he should get adequate rest, allow enough sleep. Check your urine color and it should be pale yellow. Seek medical advice if your medication affects heat exhaustion. When feeling unwell, inform your supervisor immediately. Here are supervisor responsibility. Supervisor should conduct toolbox talks. Ensure workers are properly trained on recognizing signs of heat stress. Provide workers with adequate amounts of drinking water close to workplace for adequate fluid intake. Provide workers with rest and shade in order to cool down. Supervisor should monitor and be aware of environmental conditions. Supervise workers and be watchful for signs of overexposure. Gradually acclimatize workers. Allow workers to self-pace where applicable and take rest to cool down. Gradually increase workloads. Allow more frequent breaks for new workers or workers who have been away for more than 14 days to build a tolerance for working in the heat. Assure that affected workers receive medical attention. Electrolyte supplements should only be given by medical department. Body system. Use body system with people working in pairs in order to recognize the symptoms of heat-related illness. In any emergency, the body should act immediately by informing to supervisor or workplace designated first aider, taking necessary steps to retrieve victim from heat-related illness. The pair should remain together always during the shift. This chart shows how to assess your urine color to see indications of heat stress. This chart shows the TWL, thermal work limit measurements for assessing heat stress. Kindly go through the individual items such as low risk unrestricted zone, medium risk cautionary zone, and high risk zone. It is also important to consider the acclimatization of our personnel, and this can be done through gradual adjustment of body conditions when exposed to heat stress is called acclimatization. Acclimatization usually takes minimum 7 days time. Once acclimatized, our body becomes more efficient at coping with heat stress conditions. An acclimatized person can tolerate heat stress better before harmful effects occur. It is the responsibility of every worker to ensure that he is acclimatized to the working environment.
Vehicle, driving safety during summer. Journey management. Follow the JM plan and ensure traveling during daylight only. Vehicle preparation. Ensure that air conditioning, engine cooling, and car tires are in good condition. Essential supplies. Carry at least 2 liters of water per trip to maintain hydration in addition to snacks, especially for long-distance trips. Driving and rest. In case of fatigue, take regular breaks as per company and client guidelines and park in a shaded area and ensure having enough rest. Emergency protocols. Keep a well-stocked survival kit in your vehicle. In case of any emergency, inform the supervisor, journey, transport coordinator, and HSE. Communication. Maintain communication with both the departure and arrival points, and keep your peers informed of your whereabouts. Sun glare management. Ensure the usage of proper sunglasses to limit sun glare, which can significantly impair your vision while driving during the day.
Items you should never leave inside your car as the temperature rises. So due to risks associated with leaving certain items inside your car, let's explore the things you should never leave inside your vehicle during hot weather. Number 1. Plastic water bottles. Plastic water bottles may seem harmless, but when left in a hot car, they can release harmful chemicals into the water, posing health risks when consumed. Number 2. Electronics. Electronics such as smartphones, laptops, and tablets are sensitive to extreme temperatures. Leaving them in a hot car can cause damage to the battery and internal components, leading to malfunctions or even permanent failure. Number 3. Medication, especially those in pill or liquid form, can lose their effectiveness when exposed to high temperatures. Always store medications in a cool, dry place to maintain their potency. Number 4. Aerosol can. Aerosol cans containing products like hairspray, sunscreen, or insect repellent can explode when exposed to heat, posing a serious safety hazard. Number 5. Pets. Pets should never be left unattended inside a parked car, especially in hot weather. Even with the windows cracked, the temperature inside a car can quickly reach dangerous levels, putting your pet's health and safety at risk. Number 6. Food and drinks. Leaving perishable food or beverages in a hot car can lead to bacterial growth and spoilage, increasing the risk of foodborne illness. Your well-being, safety, and possessions rely on this precaution.
Now, there's no denying your vehicle needs special love and attention in wintertime. But hey, summer is no season to just relax and take it easy when it comes to keeping your car in the best shape either. For instance, Number 1. Drivers rarely care too much about moisture getting inside the car, but that'd be a big mistake. If, say, the floors are damp under the mats, mold can quickly start to form in the warm summer months. Be sure to dry all the damp areas to prevent fungus growth from ruining the inside of your car. Do the same before winter hits so that ice doesn't form in wet spots. Number 2. I'm sure you know that feeling when you park your car in the sun for a while, and once you come back, the steering wheel is as hot as a frying pan. So, to keep it from frying your fingers, turn the wheel 180 degrees before you leave the car. This way, the side you'll touch will stay down in the shade. Number 3. Okay, but what about the scorching gear lever? Easy. Just put an insulated drink sleeve over it and you're good. If you don't have one of those, you can just spray it with some water to cool it down. The same trick works for burning hot seatbelt buckles. Number 4. Not only does the summer sun make your car hot inside, it can also cause a funky smell to appear. To solve this stinky problem, tape a dryer sheet onto the air conditioning vents. Just keep a handful of those in the car to use whenever you need them. Number 5. As weird and illogical as it sounds, the engine just doesn't need to warm up in the winter. It also needs to in the summer. When you just start the engine, it's still not hot enough for normal operation. If you start it and immediately drive off, the oil won't have had time to warm up and reach all parts of the engine. Let the engine warm up for about 30 seconds before you take off. Number 6. If you're driving slowly, it's better to open the windows instead of turning on the AC. It burns a lot of gas at low speeds because it runs at full capacity while the engine is going at low revs. When you're driving fast, like highway speeds, it's better to keep your windows up and the AC on. If the wind gets in your car and you're driving fast, it'll slow the car down and make it harder to run. Your pooch will have to wait until you're going a little slower if he wants to stick his head out the window. Number 7. If you hear air hiss through the gas cap when you open it, don't panic. It happens for 2 reasons. First, as you're driving, fuel gets pumped out of the tank, but no air enters the vacant space. This produces a pressure difference that you sort of balance out once you open the lid. The second reason is the opposite. When your car's been sitting for a while, gas vapors accumulate inside the tank. However, if you see fuel leaking out of the tank when you open it, that's a good reason to see a mechanic. Number 8. Back in the 50s, before AC was an everyday reality, some drivers put blocks of ice in their vehicles. Now, you can still use this trick if your AC isn't blowing out cold enough air for your liking. Just put a block of ice on the floorboards under the vent, but use a pan to keep the runoff under control. Number 9. All you want when you're driving on a hot summer day is something cool to drink. Instead of packing a cooler with you, simply use your glove box. Colder air blows in there from the AC. There's a little lid inside, and when you turn it around, it opens a cool air outlet. It's not the most powerful fridge in the world, so it won't make your drinks ice cold or anything, but it can help them stay cooler or stay cool for longer. Number 10. If your visors have those protective panels that slide or close over the mirror, Remember to shut them whenever you're driving. Sure, the mirrors come in handy if you want to pick at your teeth or check your makeup, at a stoplight of course. But don't forget, they're made of glass and can easily break if you get in an accident. That wouldn't be a pretty picture. Play it safe and just close them before you take off. Number 11. Don't leave anything on the dashboard if you park in the sun. It's not just about coming back to a car covered in melted gummy bears. The real danger is that the intense heat from the sun can melt just about anything. The battery can catch on fire, and the entire car can go up in flames. If you live somewhere with a hot climate, get one of those metallic sunshades and put it in the windshield. If you don't have one on hand, use a towel to cover the dash. Now, to keep your car from getting overheated under the sun, it's always best to park in the shade if you can. Never park your vehicle under trees in bloom. In fact, it's best to avoid any trees. And that's because in the summer, many of them produce juice, resin, and sticky fruit and berry grains that can land directly on your car. They can gradually damage the paint and varnish. If you don't have a chance to wash the car for a while, the stain will remain. If this happens, you can use a soap solution or special liquids to wash it off. The easiest thing you can do is mix soap and water in a spray bottle and give it a good cleaning. This will also work just fine if there's bug residue on your car. You know, bug guts. Clean it with a microfiber cloth or sponge. Just don't press too hard or you'll damage the overcoat. Number 13. If you wash your car in the summer, it's a good idea to give it some extra protection from insects, those tree juice stains, and asphalt stains. There are also sand grains and pebbles that get kicked up from under the wheels of passing cars. They leave marks on the car's body that dull the paint over time. So, to prevent all that, cover the vehicle with a few coats of polish at the beginning of summer. Here's how you can make your own at home. Grate a bar of soap to get a half a cup of flakes. Mix them with a half a cup of water and leave it in a bowl overnight for the soap to dissolve. Melt a tablespoon of beeswax and a half a cup of jojoba oil in a pot. Combine the dissolved soap flakes and beeswax jojoba mix and blend it into an even paste. Polish your car with the creamy mixture using a soft cloth and buff it with another dry cloth to make it shiny. Once you apply the mix, it interacts with the paint on a molecular level, creating a thin shell to protect the car. Some people also add a little petroleum jelly or baby oil on top for extra protection against bugs. Number 14. Flush your engine cooling system regularly to keep the engine cool. Check the overflow reservoir between flushes to make sure there's enough liquid in the coolant. And never take off the radiator cap while the engine is still hot. Boiling coolant can give you a nasty burn. Make sure rubber hoses and drive belts in the cooling system are in good condition and there are no cracks or soft spots. Number 15. Be ready for summer breakdowns. In case your engine is boiling because of high temperatures or some breakage, turn the heat on at full blast and let the hot air from the engine blow inside the car. This is a temporary solution, but if you're on the highway and can't stop and wait for help, it'll cool the engine down a bit. And if the problem is more serious and you just must stop in the middle of nowhere, be prepared. Keep an emergency kit inside your vehicle. It should have water, some non-perishable foods, a first aid kit, basic tools, road flares, jumper cables, and a flashlight. And bring some M&Ms.